Hello and welcome back to the Monch Hours Podcast. I'm your host, John. I'm here with the High RZA himself, Mr. J.
Oh, damn. You're introducing me with the Twitter handle, huh?
Twitter handles, yes, sir. You know, it's High RZA and myself, Mr. Hans, or just Hans on the Twitterverse, as some would say. So you can find us on there. And today we're going to be talking about the friendships and bonds in anime. And our recaps for Samurai Champloo, No Gun Life, and Chainsaw Man. So, hey, Jay, you got anything to say about that?
No. I mean, I will once we start getting into it.
Once we get into it? Yeah. All right. Well, that's that. We'll crack a cold one and cue the intro.
Welcome to the Monch Hours Podcast, where we consume manga and anime with pleasure. Crack a cold one and enjoy the show.
I hope we can finally fight without any distractions now. How do you know the Muju style? Fate is a fascinating thing. The Muju style would be something that I alone am the master of. There's no escaping that it's your destiny to die by my hand.
Since it is destined, I'd like to see what the hand of God is all about.
Gladly. I've been sitting idle now for far longer than I would have liked.
I'm not going there to die. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive. I have to do it, Faye.
It's all a dream.
Yeah. Just a dream.
And we're back. Jordan, what are you drinking on this week?
Bro, I'm still with that Haleakala Sunrise. I feel like it's been the same beer.
What was that, whole month?
Bro, a whole month of the same beer. It's tasty, bro.
You gotta increase your palate, my friend. You can't be drinking the same beer. You're gonna get tired of it.
That's true. I get so much free beer.
Hey, you can't complain, I guess, that
Yeah.
way.
But yeah, it's tasty. How about you? What kind of...
Dude, I'm drinking the Kirin Ichiban today.
Ooh. Any sake with it?
Maybe after the show.
Oh, damn.
I gotta be literate.
Yeah, no.
What was it 2 weeks ago when we were talking about gatekeeping? Or I think maybe it was the one prior to that where I was on a spicy one. Yeah, I was gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I was pretty good. I was close, man. I convinced you and myself that agglamation was a real word.
Agglamation. I was about to pull a dictionary, thesaurus or something.
We'll avoid that. Yeah, I had some Twitter followers that were saying, as soon as you said it, they were like, no, it's amalgamation or whatever the word was. I was like, whoops. Well, yeah, that's
Feel free to roast him when he fucks up like that.
Hey, that's when you know we're keeping it real deal with y'all.
Yeah.
No cuts like that, man. If we fuck up, we fuck up.
You feel free to laugh at us. Because I'm gonna laugh at us.
Anyways, so well, that's the best part is we laugh at each other more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's what gives us that thick skin. Because I make fun of Jay and he makes fun of me, so don't be afraid of roasting. We already done it to ourselves.
Yeah. And that plays into our topic today. Friendship in anime. Yeah. And the bonds we build.
Friendship. The bonds between brothers and sisters.
Yeah, buddy. So
with that, I mean, I guess we'll kind of do the intro in the little aspect. Growing up with anime in general, and Toonami and everything we've seen, there's always been that overarching win condition of, I never suspected the power of friendship to be so strong, or the power of friendship prevailing over evil and and things of that nature, like Digimon, Sailor Moon. You know, trying to think back as we were kids, you know, where that friendship came through and gave, that was like the ultimate power for the group or the gang. So, and with that, was there anything? Well, I mean, it is more than that, of course, as we progress into more adult themed shows. But is there anything that came to mind for you, Jordan, like the first time you memorized that, or you had that experience, a memory?
Dude, so for me, like when I think of friendship in anime, I mean, there's so many. It's pretty common, you know. Like there's always that tight group, and they build each other up. They have their little bickering, but they got each other's back. But the ultimate one, the king that I think of, and it might not be like, I don't know, one that most people think of because it might come off as a different relationship, but it is the Ash and Pikachu friendship. Because you can look at that like it's like a pet owner kind of, but no, Pikachu, like that's the ride or die right there. And you see that in just like OG Pokemon where they had such like a tight bond, like just such good friendship, even though couldn't communicate through words, but just through the actions and just mannerisms of Pikachu, Ash was able to like build such a strong, like powerful relationship. And you see like different instances where they wanted to get stronger. I think it was when they're in like the Lieutenant Surge gym and they couldn't beat him for the badge. And so they were like contemplating using was it Thunderstone or whatever to evolve. To be Raichu. And then they're like, no, fuck that. Like Pikachu's going to beat him like on his own merit. And that is less cool, like to see that they believed in each other, that they could beat the gym leader without having to get that major power up. So that's what I think of, like, first and foremost. I mean, there's so many, but like that one's really just touching to me. It's wholesome. It kind of hits on all the beats in friendship that you look for in real life too, for me at least.
Right.
Even though, I mean,
yeah, I think that it gives us that first. I think as kids, you're really young and impressionable. Seeing that, it kind of gives you that outlook as to what you should look forward to, or what you should look for in a person you can call a friend. You know, there's the loyalty, there's the 100% support, the full backing, and you know, willing to support you in your endeavors no matter what.
Yeah, lay it all out on the line. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you can see that like in the Pokemon movie, you see that as well, like that friendship they have, where, you know, just through the battle with Mewtwo, like it's just all out brawl, and like Pikachu's still there. Like, if I remember correctly, because I haven't seen the OG movie in forever, but isn't it like Ash turns to stone and like Pikachu's like fighting till like the last, like he's just beat down, and
yeah, and like tears, like Pikachu sees Ash and tears fall down, and we all break down and cry.
Yeah, as kids, dude. I'm pretty sure I haven't watched it again because of that. Like, I'm not trying to get hit with those feels right now.
Yeah, you know, it's honestly kind of, when I think about it, I can't remember the last time I've watched it, but I remember it very clearly, and it's curious because, like, well, I'm sure there's people out there that's seen it only once, and they remember it as clear as day. You know, that movie and the power of the emotion that it gave is enough to warrant that everlasting memory.
Yeah, it's true. I know didn't they remake it like a year ago or so, and just like updated animation?
I think that was like some type of armored Mewtwo, maybe like a 0.5. I'm not exactly too sure, but I know there was some hype around it.
Oh yeah, maybe I should look into that. Maybe I need.
I think it was Mewtwo Strikes Back. Wait, wasn't that the name of the movie though? Pokemon the movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Yeah,
something like that.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll have to do some research about that.
I know, right? But yeah, that's where I start off, like, thinking about friendship in anime. I'd like to see where your mind goes for the first, like, your first impressions of, like, these bonds that we see built in these medium.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be, again, as I mentioned earlier, like Digimon comes to mind for me because it's the same thing when you have the companionship of not only you have the Digidestin, which is the group of people that are, teleported to the Digi world and have like nothing in common, but through the time they've developed this friendship that lasts, a long time. But also you have the friendship that stems from both the Digidestin and their Digi companion, be it Agumon, Gabumon, as we go on here, the Tai and Matt together, then they're especially them two with their Digimon, and it digivolves into Wargreymon and Metagarurumon. And for me, it Digimon is like a really soft, really dear to my heart because give it Pokemon all the props in the world, but they only say like their names, Pikachu, whereas Digimon, they would converse and they would talk with their friends, and so that's where my memory goes to for like the first friendship. And what I really like about the Digimon universe is it goes so far when you follow these characters that they go to college, and as friends do, they separate, some lose ties, some don't converse with each other anymore, but they still make time to make it a point to reach out as you do with your friends and say, hey, how you doing, every now and then. Or even if that's not the case, if something brings them back together, it's like there's no hiccups in the picking up of where they left off in the last friendship, and they're really good from the get-go to reestablish that, like there wasn't that gap in time. So that's where my mind goes for that.
Yeah, for sure. I can appreciate that sentiment too. Like, it's a good friend when like time can pass. You haven't seen them for a long time, but you reach out and you pick up basically like right where you left off. There's none of that awkwardness. It's just you're right back in it. And I feel like,
and it's like both. Go ahead.
I feel like that's where like in Digimon you see that it's that type of friendship where, like you said, they go off, they lose the closeness that they might have held before, but they're kind of linked together by that event that they went through together, and they're linked through the Digiverse, and so they always have that, and having something like that built such a strong bond for them that they just are able to get back into it. You know what I mean? Like that connection is unbreakable.
Right, exactly. And it's like both parties understand, obviously, if you grow up and you have priorities and real life things, and there's no shame, there's no kind of holding it against one another.
Yeah.
And so that's where that goes for me, at least, like I mentioned. But I mean, then as we grow older and we start getting into more of exploring shows that have more adult themes, or more that are serious in nature, we can see that the bonds take a deeper form. They go to a further extent almost. And like as you mentioned earlier, we're talking about things. You're putting it all on the line. And when I think of that, putting it all on the line, I think of Hunter x Hunter, when we have the friendship and the bond that is not only between Kahlua and Gon, but also Leorio and Kurapika. All of them together is honestly, it's a beautiful thing, especially Gon and Kahlua, the two kids, that just met by chance, and they really put it all on the line for one another. So I'm not sure you haven't watched Hunter x Hunter, right?
I have not. It's definitely on my list.
Man, yeah, definitely on the list. It's definitely a must see in my eyes. They got like 4 arcs, because you have the first arc, which is the Hunter exams, and then you have the Greed Island arc, and then you have York New City, and then the Ant Chimera arc. And it's really, man, watching these bonds develop over time is really cool. That's one show that I recommend where you can really see the how they evolve and transpire throughout the seasons.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely need to get on that. I think I've been saying that since the first episode.
As we started recording this, yeah.
Oh shit! But so this is something you'll be able to talk on too. But I've been doing like a slow watch through of Darling in the, as John Carl called it, Franks. Is that how you pronounce it? Franks?
I did, Darling in the Franks. Yeah.
So I've been doing like one episode a day. Sometimes like, I don't even get that, but like I'm just taking my time with it and like really just like absorbing it. And like I just got to the episode where they're the connection with 02 and Hero, like they realize that they have that past connection when they're kids.
Yeah.
And like that's, I don't know, that you see multiple like friendship dynamics in that, because you see their connection from the past and they're just realizing that they had this bond already established from years ago when they were younger.
Right.
So you see that, and you see why they were drawn together in the future, you know, down the line. So just that's cool. You know, you see that bond was, they might not have seen each other for however many years passed, I'm not too sure. But they knew once they like re-met each other again that there was something about this person that attracted them together. And there's something about that relationship that's really strong that they just knew without knowing. It's almost instinctual that they were supposed to have a connection with this person. And then on the flip, you see all that go down. There's the information gets out to the rest of the squad that 02 is draining his life, Hero's life from him. And they love him. They might bicker. They're like any family, let's fight. But when they hear that, they basically tell 02 that she's cut off. They're trying to protect their loved one, their family, from what they see as a threat. So you also see that. That's also just such a powerful friendship that your friends are willing to literally like stand guard. At one point, they're standing guard outside of his room as he's recovering, and they're keeping who at the moment they think is a threat away and willing to like fight and like tell her she can't be around anymore.
Right. And I think like that too, what people, I don't think they forget while they watch Darling in the Franxx is that this initial squad is comprised of the first of its kind where they were allowed to essentially have emotions. Like the rest of the squads are pretty numb to things. They're pretty much grown up with like being like, you just do you perform a role, that's all you do. Where this squad is, they're allowed to have emotions, and for the most part they aren't taught how to deal with them. You know, they're experiencing these things for the first time in their life. They don't necessarily have a mentor other than what's her name? You know, the lady,
the adult.
And then the doctor himself too, to guide them, which they really don't, because their hands are tied too from Ape, or the overseeing corporation that is watching over them. So when these kids go through these emotions and they still feel this way and they have a strong bond, you know, it really does say a lot. And the same can be said too, because it's like 02 and Hero, you know, their romance, their relationship. It's like they obviously can't explain it to everybody else because they can't explain it just yet until that moment, until they realize they've known each other from the past. But there's that connection that trumps everything else. It's that knowing, like, even though this might be going down, it's like it's also the right thing, and things are going to play out for the better. And it's really, you really do see, you know, especially when the squad is fighting against 02 to cut her off, and she's giving her it all to fight back, and you see that evil side of her because, you know, that's her darling. That's who she's willing to fight her life for.
Yeah.
And you'll watch the rest of this, I won't really want to spoil anything. That just further gets echoed, that sentiment. And so I'm excited for you to kind of watch through with that. And that's where a lot of turmoil comes from, when people put like Ichigo and 02 and like comparisons and all that.
Yeah.
it's still, you can't really blame them. Like, it's again, like, that's their first time there, especially Ichigo. You know? She's been in there for quite a long time as well, and that's the first time that these kids are experiencing what they're experiencing.
For sure.
So that's why I really like that aspect of that show. And that's why I think Trigger does a fantastic job. Studio Trigger, a lot of the shows are, their series are a coming of age and how these children or these teens, these young adults, get from point A to point B and the progression that goes through with it. You see it in Kill la Kill, even though Rukia is... Rukia? Am I saying that right? Why does that doesn't sound right?
I haven't watched Kill la Kill.
Oh, you haven't watched Kill la Kill either?
I know.
But okay, hold on. I don't want to embarrass myself. I actually already did. Kill la Kill.
If he's wrong, everyone roast him.
Ryuko. I was off. But there's Ryuko and Satsuki, which are... I can't say anything because you're freaking... That's disappointing. I'm disappointed.
No, I'm disappointed in you, bro.
But there's a plot. If you guys seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The relationship. There's a platonic.
Bro, no, you go ahead.
That comes.
Just explain it. Like it's
no, it's an amazing show. I'm not going to ruin it. It's an amazing show. Despite the fan service that isn't there, it's also a coming of age, and the message is it's almost like. Now I'm not gonna say anything. You'll get into it. But then you also have the shows like Kisniver, which is Trigger as well. Again, a coming of age series where emotions are played, almost similar to Darling in the Franxx. And this came out prior to Darling in the Franxx. We do have a similar kind of premise where these youngins were kind of experienced at a young age. And then you have Gurren Lagann, and even like Promare, the most recent movie that came out. And then Trigger also did Little Witch My Academia, which is again, a coming of age, and friendship and bonds that are experienced with that. And I feel like these shows, I'm happy to see this still come into play. And not only do they provide, like as we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, a moral compass or a guideline for young people who need these and are impressionable, but as adults we can appreciate it because it's sentimental to us, near and dear to us, and it often makes us reflect on the bonds that we have, and we can come to appreciate that to a much higher degree. Is my feelings. That's why I love Trigger as a studio. I'm a Trigger fanboy. And they've made some crazy shows, which I won't get, like a ninja one and like not Fire Punch, that's Chainsaw Man, but like something with a fire ninja. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but again, I don't want to digress too far, which I'm pretty good at getting into a ramble. But that's why I'm a big Trigger fanboy. They're wholesome. It's just I'm pretty sure I've said enough of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you've explained your love for Trigger in the past. Maybe once or twice, or almost every episode,
once
bro.
Or twice in Guynet. Yeah, dude, I know. God, well, hey, at least you can't say I'm not passionate about that.
Dude, it's nice to see. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate your friendship, too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yours as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I wasn't best man or anything, but I guess I'll let that slide because you do have a younger brother.
Yeah, well, you were there, bro. You were up there.
I was there. And don't forget Vegas, man. The other wedding. Who came through with
bro,
that?
You were always there. Wherever
always there. Heart hands all the way, my friend.
Yep. Oh, dude, I'll appreciate that memory forever. So one other one before.
Keep going.
I want to touch base on. So everyone, of course, right now is a Haikyuu fan. I feel like it's impossible not to be. And, besides all the, just, I don't know, the outside, like, the fan input about, like, I don't know, there's just their hyper love for characters, which can get a bit weird on Twitter. The friendship though on that show is like spot on. Like, I love that aspect about the show. It might be my favorite part about the show because it's just really when it comes down to it, it's just you can feel that this is just a group of young high school kids, and they act the part. They kind of, they've got hormones that are building, so they're kind of, aggro in some ways. They've got a lot of pent up, like, some have all this pent up, like, aggression and maybe a little bit of anger, a little, like, sadness buried deep. But you see this friendship start to grow, and as it like continues to grow, you see them become closer and you feel it. They're not just, a bunch of separate people who come together like once a day for volleyball practice or games. It's like kind of a slow burn. You see them actually like building those bonds, and throughout the day, like school day, they're together hanging out. They become such close friends, and they open up about things that might affect them, or like their life start to intertwine in deeper ways than just being teammates.
Right.
And how that happens is it's really just like touching. They start to become stronger. They start to trust each other, and that's a big part of friendship, is this trusting and believing. And you see that on the court during their games. I've only watched the first season, but I'm like I think a third way through the manga, and you just see just such support. Like as new players come in to the games who might have those nerves, because they're not getting like playtime every game, they have those nerves, but no one on the team is out there doubting them. If they mess up, they build them up and tell them like, next time you got it. It's not.
Yeah, we as a team, we're failing as a team.
Yeah,
this isn't you.
Yeah,
you're not alone in this.
And that's like a beautiful thing to see, because that's how a real friendship should be. No matter if your buddy stumbles, you should be there to like kind of be a crutch and help them up, and show them that we're going to get through this in any aspect of life, not just sports, but anything.
But sports translates that so well, because that does, as you played sports yourself, and whoever has played sports can attest to this. If you mess up, the first thought that comes into your mind, your teammate's going to hate you. And then when a teammate comes by and picks you up and says, "Hey man, no worries, next time we got him. Like we're going to get through this." That's like the one that you go from one of the worst feelings of your life to one of the most uplifting feelings in your life.
Yeah.
When that clicks finally for the first time as solo to team, it is a beautiful thing, like you mentioned. And one thing that IQ does that's really nice is the bond that originally develops from a rivalry. Even a competitive rivalry throughout the season is actually a really good technique, or really good tool to build that bond, because you want to do better than your friend, and you want your friend to get better, and that you guys can elevate each other. And we see that in not only in Haikyuu, but in all animes. And it's not just the sports. Like one of the earliest examples I can give is Dragon Ball Z, the friendship that blossoms out of Goku and Vegeta. Right from the start, Vegeta has always had a chip on his shoulder from Goku, and his sole mission of life was to be the strongest Saiyan. He's the Prince of all Saiyans. But as we progress and the bond evolves, they develop a friendship, and they develop a brotherhood. They are Saiyans together. They have Saiyan bloods together. Yeah. And it's a wonderful thing. And again, it's like, I love, you can hate on shonens you all want. And I know there's a dime a dozen, but I love shonens for what they do, and that's to provide that aspect and that inspiration, that motivation. And it's not just shonen. It's like, I'm gonna go on, like we obviously have Gundam Wing is kind of iffy, because it's like really there's more political things than that. But like we talked about last week, Yu Yu Hakusho, another shonen, we have Kuwabara and Yusuke, even Hiei and Kurama, as that progress. And it's not just with it's not just like the males, of course, gender. It's all genders. Like we have like you mentioned earlier, Ash and Misty, and that bunch, and the Digidestin, as far as I can remember, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. Like, I feel like there's not really any anime that I can think of where there's not a strong friendship being built. Right. And just like off the top of my head, at least, like maybe like you said, Gundam Wing, that was more of a political game. But any like other Gundams, like 8th MS team, they're a military team who's coming together in like such a grueling war, and then their like friend goes off and falls in love with their commander, goes and falls in love with the enemy, a leader in the enemy. So they're kind of like dealing with that thought at the end, like, did he abandon us? But then their friendship, as you see, like they they don't think that's the case. Like, they want him to be happy and want them to be happy together, and like they don't pursue them any further than knowing that they went off together.
Yeah, or even like Iron Blood Orphans.
Yeah.
Orga and what's his name? You know, the kid that pilots the Gundam Barbatos.
Yeah.
Their friendship. You know, it's just really, I like it. I don't care, and I'm a sucker for shonens. In that aspect, because of that as well. Like even like the most recent one, you have My Hero, or even like Demon Slayer. You know, these friendships progress, and I think it's a thing where, especially as we get older and we do separate. Like as you guys know, we're across continents doing this podcast, and I moved away from most of my friends. But luckily, I moved actually one of my friends closer to one of them, best friend. Shout out Shane, and. But it's like that void. There's a void when you do, you know, become older and you separate. And so these shonens, you know, as much as they're a benefit for the younger kids, for, you know, the older ones like ourselves who kind of don't have that anymore, it's a good way to fill that void.
Yeah. So like something like I also like, not basing it on a show or anything, but just the fact like through anime, like we've been able to like make and keep like such good friendships. Like basically like all of our like friend group back in Arizona for the most part had some anime love to them, and that was always like a common thing like we could talk about like when we're just hanging out, you know. And it might have like helped us like break down like those little barriers when you're first becoming friends, and allowing you to open up and be more of yourself, which is something like I appreciate when like we find that commonality in something. It doesn't just have to be anime, but in like some cases it can be. And as you see on like anime Twitter, it seems like some people become such good friends in the community, and that's a beautiful thing. So just using that as a like driving force to like for friendships is just it's a good thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of anime Twitter as a whole, you know, I don't know if you saw recently, but last night Tanami, have you seen like the Tanami?
Oh, dude,
and what Tom said?
dropped some fucking
Yeah.
wisdom on us.
Yeah, that was one of the most amazing things I could see, to be honest. And and if you haven't seen it, it's trending right now. By the time this will be a week later. By the time this comes out, I'll be probably have seen it. But if not, just go into Nami's YouTube and you'll see
Tom's message.
They took Tom's message with the everything that's going on, the political climate in the world right now, and their support for the Black Lives Matters movement, which we've, you know, on this podcast support as well. We mentioned right from actually shortly after this podcast started, that came out, and we were very opinionated on the matter of supporting, and we made ourselves very vocal about that. But seeing Tanami and Tom, who were, you know, Steve Bloom, who voices him, who's Spike Spiegel, who's Mugen, who's so many prolific characters and heroes to our young impressionable minds, hearing that was really a powerful thing. And the anime community, you know, say as you want what you want about them, they have their weird horny side and all that, but most, if not all, that I've seen have rallied together for, you know, this movement and other movements for basic human rights. It doesn't, not necessarily in America. I've seen them rally for, you know, rights in the Philippines, for rights in, you know, Eastern countries. And it's good to see that, you know, their head's in the right place. I feel, you know, like I said, as much as the crazy shit they come out with, that at least these generations are going to be very powerful in terms of moving the world.
Yeah,
in my opinion, into the right area.
There's a lot of empathy, and that's what the world kind of needs. It's more love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I hope Tom's message like reaches more people. I mean, even if you were to show that to someone who's not even an anime fan, yeah, it comes across as strong. I mean, they cut like a bunch of just lines from like shows that we grew up loving, and show like these messages have been in anime since like so we started watching it. You know, there was some.
It's incarnation.
Yeah, there's been like they were cutting in like shows from a long time ago, like 90s anime, and it was touching on these aspects of equality.
Right.
You know,
stand together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, raise each other up. Don't push each other down.
Yeah, and I appreciate that's another thing about anime. You know, the most badass character can be a person of color, a person like a female. It's not like we see in like a lot of Western like action movies where it's always just the super like macho dude who's the hero.
Yeah.
It's
chiseled jaw.
Yeah, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the world.
Right.
It's a more diverse cast can be our hero or heroine.
Yeah, I mean Naruto has it. Bleach had it.
Yeah.
You know, countless. I mean, even that's even the thing where people say Piccolo is a person of color.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess I didn't even think of that. But yeah.
You know, I've seen it. It's like, well, they you know, their minds connect to it. Where I've seen tweets of people mentioning that, so that's how they connected to that DBZ kind of way, and I think it's awesome. And I think, you know, that's what anime gives to a lot of people. You can't get that from. You can watch, you know, whatever. Everybody likes watching reality TV once in a while. No hate against that, but you're not going to get that from watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you know.
Whoa, bro! You gonna take a stand on that?
I mean, yeah, I'll take a stand
Good.
on that.
As a test.
I'll tell you right
if you would
now.
have backed down,
There's only so much Kylie Jenner's you can catch. You know, if you're gonna try to trademark "Good Morning," whatever that was a long time ago that came out.
I don't even.
Rise
I don't
and
even
shine.
remember that.
Oh yeah, she said "Rise and Shine" in their TV show, and then it got viral, and then she tried trademarking that.
Damn.
Rise and Shine. You know,
I'm,
and this. Well, maybe we're gonna get taken down by DCMA right now after this
shit,
goes live for
up.
me saying that. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck.
Whoa. You're gonna take on the Jenners.
Nah, I mean, shit. Any publicity is bad publicity, I guess. I mean, that's what they live their life on.
I don't think that's even the saying, bro.
Zinger.
That's not even. You didn't even say the saying right.
Wait, bad. Any publicity is good publicity, right?
I'm pretty sure you said any publicity is bad publicity.
Hey, it all goes down one way or the other, and we're 6 feet under at the end of this.
True.
So, you know, live our life to the fullest.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think you know, there's obviously a lot of animes we didn't touch on, but you guys each have your own animes, and we're not, you know, forgetting them on purpose. So we can go on and on about this, you know, everything that's been an impact in our life. I mean, Cowboy Bebop, Faye, Spike, Jet Black, and Ed, and even Data Dog. You know, we cross. It's not even humans at this point.
Seriously,
it's just amazing. It's a good thing.
Before we get off the topic, do you have any that friendships in anime that, on the flip side, that ended up hurting you, like the way they went or anything?
Probably. I think there's like some toxic relationships that obviously are shown throughout anime as kind of like a foreboding or a forewarning. Probably something I just eradicated from my mind.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like there's something where someone does something out of spite, and they regret it. But I mean, the actions have been done. The consequences have taken place.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm thinking, like, for some reason Code Geass is coming to my mind. I can't remember a moment from it though, but for that one. And usually those are kind of like really rooted in people are pressure. It's like a high pressure situation, or just high manipulation as well.
Yeah.
But they're definitely there. I just can't think of a moment right now, but I know in my mind, I'm like, I can understand that they are there, and I've experienced it.
Yeah. Well, coming to my mind, the reason I ask is, and it's not any like betrayal or anything, but when I think of Gurren Lagann, and I haven't watched it in years, but like the midway point where what was the main character's name? Do you remember?
I don't. It's been a long... Dude, I honestly don't remember that series. When I watched it, I was so young.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, I don't remember really, like, too much, but I remember, like, halfway through, the main character, his best friend, Kamina, how he, like, dies. He's, like, one of the main characters there at, like, the beginning.
Yeah.
and he dies, and I was like, oh shit, like they're best friends, and literally like they're piloting this mecha together, like they are tight. And just seeing that, it kind of like watching that at a younger age, and like just seeing that, it kind of put into like perspective that like just with any person, like life is fleeting, so like you need to cherish these friendships, because you know, I could be gone tomorrow, you could be gone tomorrow, like we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so we need to put everything into our friendships and just show each other that we care about each other, and just be appreciative of each other, and like show the love.
I think a good, yeah, I agree 100%. A good series that you sparked a memory that actually does echo that sentiment is Akame ga Kill. Well, I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Obviously, I don't pronounce things right. I don't remember things right. I try to make up my own words. But that series, there's a lot of death and a lot of friends, and like people that take that big brother role will die. And the echoing of like, if I'd known, I would have said this and that or whatever. You do find that in romance, but even like, how can I forget like one of the most prolific kind of triple friendships that we have right now that's currently going on in Attack on Titan? You know, Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. They've been in it since the get-go, and you know, are you caught up? Are you caught up with the everything?
No, I haven't watched the last season. Hey, I got time,
See,
bro.
almost,
I got time.
dude. Jeez, man. No, bro. Like, dude, I'll tell you right now. This last season,
Shit gets wild.
I can't even say it. No, I'm not gonna say anything. I just like I've always liked Armin as a character, but he became my favorite character in all of Attack on Titan in this last season.
Dude, I saw he's jacked. I saw like he's
Red
City.
Well, who wouldn't be? All they're eating is potatoes and, you know, scouting and flying in the air with all their muscles. And
I guess
crap.
that's true.
Fighting Titans. Who wouldn't be all freaking ripped out of their mind? But yeah, I think if we're cool ending at that, we can move on to our recaps or our favorite moments of what we've been watching and reading.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I mean, like we can like continue, I'm sure, and just keep like just waxing poetic on these shows, because like you said, like we could go down literally like the list of anime and point out like just markers of good friendship and how it like kind of like molded us in our thoughts of like how to be a good friend. So like it's probably best to pull just the parachute and move on to the next segment.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go with let's talk about Samurai Champloo. What are any favorite moments of yours that for these last 3 episodes, which we ended on I think it was Elegy of Entrapment number 2.
Yeah. Dude, that 2-parter was pretty good, and I didn't even remember it from my first walkthrough or watch through.
Dude, yeah, me too.
Like I was like, fuck, this is some powerful stuff. And
that was beautiful. That was a beautiful 2-parter.
Yeah. Just a nice little like standalone story in a way. But like through these, it's basically more like the whole series, and I don't know if I actually picked up on it. But am I right to say that there's kind of a like love triangle going on between the three main characters? Because to me it seems as if Fu and like Mugen have like feelings for each other. Like they're unrequited both ways. Like neither is admitting to it. And then also I got a feeling like Jean's got feelings for Fu.
I feel it's opposite. I feel that Fu has feelings for Jean, but Jean doesn't reciprocate it or doesn't really want it. But like Mugen's just Mugen, and it's hard for him to reciprocate those feelings as well, or even have them because of the way he's been raised and just how he is. I think I think Mugen sees Fu as like the annoying little sister, and maybe Jin sees that as well. But I feel like that's where I stand on that.
I could see that, and the reason I was thinking like Fu was filling Mugen is so in the first part of the two-parter, she basically chooses which one she wants to have bodyguard this blind woman.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah, this woman who's kind of like a traveling minstrel. Like she plays I'm not sure what the instrument is at a lot of like bars basically. So she's a musician, and Fu, like she picks up that Mugen's like kind of hitting on Sarah, and she's kind of trying to keep Mugen away. Like they're in the bathhouse, and Mugen's like in the bath with her, and it kind of seems like Fu's trying to, like for her own interests, keep Mugen from making any moves on this woman. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
The reasons, and it might just be like she knows Mugen and she's trying to protect this girl too. So it could be that too.
Well, yeah, I think there's that aspect of jealousy because it's often hard to remember. And this series, what this series does so good is immerses you and it makes you relate to these characters that you think that they're the same age as you, nearly the same age as you, but they're, well, at least Fu is as a teenager. And I think teenagers, they obviously will have that aspect of jealousy. And while maybe Fu does feel, maybe some feelings towards Mugen, I don't think it's quite as strong as the feelings she's had for Jean. And I think she's had it's been echoed previously. And in this episode, we get it where she kind of gives Jean an ultimatum or a test, as teenage girls do, or as any teenager does, you go with this person and you expect them now, and if they really do care about me, they're going to fight it and say, no, I want to stay with you, which doesn't happen because Jean is Jean. And then she gets all kind of really sad and broken up about it. That was my...
That is true.
She was train of thought for that.
She was pretty torn up when she even like mentioned it, that he didn't even try to argue it.
Yeah.
So that might be how it's going to.
Yeah, I really like these two episodes. They're really fantastic, and the music that was playing throughout, the Wandering Minstrel, and I won't even try to pronounce these names of the Chinese instruments that were used, or these Japanese instruments. But if you've ever heard them, they did a really good job. There's only so much you can do with sound quality that was recorded back in the day, but if you can go on YouTube and find these, which I've had some come up, and that instrument is a really beautiful thing to hear by itself.
Yeah.
But also the whole blind thing and the way things move, and how maybe that was Musashi Miyamoto, the old man in the jungle. It was really cool. There was the episode prior where it talks about, it kind of takes a jab at religion, and it's something I've kind of obviously I don't want to get into religion, but I say you have to be careful if when someone uses religion as a manipulation tool to kind of manipulate your decisions and things, which was that unholy episode in the beginning with the fake priest and all that, which I really liked. It's funny that these themes that take place in animation are so prevalent even in today's age. It still maintains its kind of not shock value, but its impact. And these are a show that was aimed at young adults, young kids, and to have these as kind of a forewarning or a teaching lesson is awesome. It's very awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You touched on it, saying the Miyamoto Musashi part. Was that really him? To me, I love when there's a little historical just bits added into shows. And
yeah,
I don't know if you've ever read it, but the Book of Five Rings, which is a book written by Miyamoto Musashi, is one of my favorite books. And just whenever he comes up, recently I found out that the manga Vagabond is like a fictionalized version of Miyamoto Musashi.
Oh,
yeah. So I was like, shit, I'm definitely adding that to the list.
You gotta watch. You gotta read Record of Ragnarok because your boy has a fucking badass fight.
Really?
A badass fight against Poseidon,
Damn.
the god of water,
So
in Record of Ragnarok.
He's in it, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I've been trying to get you to read that for a long time. And if that's
Damn.
the case, I'm telling you right now, I'm name dropping. Just read the fight. I'll send you the fight. Because it's sick, dude. It is sick.
Damn. So like, I don't know if you have any like beyond Record of Ragnarok, but like any like reference for Miyamoto Musashi.
I do have loosely ones, of course, Record of Ragnarok, and honestly, I have to give praise where praise is due in my inception into kind of these heroes of the Japanese era, be it the feudal period, the Meiji, the Edo period, the Meiji era. A lot of it stems from first Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah.
We have the Shinsen Megumi, Okita Soji, and then also the Fate series, and in the game Fate Grand Order. A lot of these characters, they do a very good. Now they do gender bend, of course, which whatever. That's what makes Fate. But they're very good on at least piquing your interest on these things. We have Masato Musashi, Miyamoto Musashi, which is a female now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's Okita Soji. There is Nobu Obunaga. You name it. It's a Shinsen Megumi. All these characters that take place in Fate, and they kind of they loosely drop the story behind these characters and how they became prolific, because the whole basis is they're legends. That's why they can be summoned, and this is why they're a legend.
Oh, okay.
And so that makes me go and do some self-research. And Record of Ragnarok actually does a lot for Miyamoto Musashi in terms of painting his backstory and how he became who he became through all his training and his fights and his I'm not gonna I'll go ahead and let you. I feel like you were leading me on, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and continue.
Basically, no. I was just gonna talk about like just that part where that old man was there, and he, in a way, taught Jean how to beat Sarah in a fight, but he used it through like a intellectual way, but also was playing dumb at the same time, where it kind of is a question mark. Is that really him? But when you do a little reading on Miyamoto Musashi, or read his Book of Five Rings, you see that in his time he was the top samurai. He was, I think, had won 60 one-on-one duels, or over 60, and his strategy was all intellectual. They say he would show up late to duels that they agreed to fight at a certain time. He'd show up an hour and a half late, be it to play a mind game so the person starts to freak out, maybe just start overthinking, what am I really doing? Or be it that they might be fighting, they might have agreed to fight on a beach or somewhere, so he can use the tide to his advantage. And then you, through the reading of the book, just becoming a history lesson, he's also talking about you have to insert yourself into anything that you do and be 100% in it. So if you are going to be a musician, you should be a musician. You should live it. You should not half-ass it. And he incorporated that into his fighting, where he was a master poet, a master artist, and he was able to incorporate that into the way he trained with the sword too.
Right.
So he's all about balance. And I just find that awesome about him, as just a fictional character in this show, in Record of Ragnarok, in whatever he shows up in, how what?
I have to. When you were saying that, it actually triggered a memory, and it wasn't. Musashi does make an appearance for the fighter who takes place against Poseidon, but it was actually Kojiro Sasaki versus Poseidon.
Oh, gotcha.
So it wasn't Musashi himself, but he does make an appearance, and it does go through his fight, and his upbringing. So
Gotcha.
Just let me clarify on that.
I mean, I'll still probably end up reading it, but
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. They like said he lost a lot of fights, and I was like, oh, I'm thinking of the wrong guy. So.
But yeah, so that was just kind of a tangent. He's a good character of like historical character and a good fictional character because his life was almost fiction. The way he lived was almost like you would write a fictionalized character like that, but this was a real dude.
Right.
So
yeah.
I always enjoy that when history is actually more interesting than the actual like what someone could fictionalize.
Yeah, because these are people that lived. They're real people.
Yeah.
Even like the Shinsei Megumi, and Nobunaga, and it's like really, it's honestly super fascinating. And I think that's where there comes like a rift in between, and I think it's becoming more and more apparent. Is like there's a line between cultural appropriation, and then there's cultural appreciation. It's like we want to better understand this, so we have give proper respect. Like these are heroes of these times of Japan's history, Asian history. That we have our own heroes, but not as badass as some of these characters, and it's real. It's real history.
Yeah,
and it would be a shame not to appreciate that and learn about it.
That's true. Should have paid more attention in history class.
Well, they really didn't touch base on it, to be honest. We know how fucked up the history curriculum is in any country. Your country pays history. There's you as the
good
right
guys
and winning side. Yeah, when there's a lot more to it for the most part. So
exactly,
you're either on the right side of history or on the wrong side. There's no other two ways about it.
Exactly.
But yeah, let's jump into, because we're pushing on the hour here. No Guns Life,
dude.
Anything?
So they haven't really touched on it too much, but Wunderbar or whatever, the prison, dude. I want to know what this Azkaban sounding place, like, what is this? Dude, I'm just thinking of literally Azkaban. I'm like, this prison sounds fucking like no one wants to go there. They're throwing it out yo, I'm gonna put you in there. And then, like, people are like, oh, shit, like, never mind, like, I'll toe the line.
Yeah, I think I saw, like, season 2, which I didn't see originally. Yeah. So I may go into that. But, I just, again, I'm going to be reiterating my remarks on how much I like that noir aspect. And this is a show that definitely makes you want to binge watch it. It really keeps you in the mystery. And I really like, again, as I mentioned last time, Cronin, I think his name's Cronin, the needle guy.
Acupuncture.
He's fucking sick. Yeah, I love his character a lot.
Yeah, he's badass.
Just we got kind of a reiteration, a continuation of where we left off in the fights and all that. Of course, Golden Mech Boy has of course ulterior motives, which whatever. But that's all I'll mention of it right now.
Yeah, there's like a hidden like a shadow government thing going on where they're using, like, I think they even threw out the line where they needed the Golden Boy to die as a hero. He was basically a martyr for them because it was about to come to light that he was actually not what anyone thought he was. So then they used another gun slave, and so we got introduced to this other combo. So we're seeing how these teams worked in tandem too.
In tandem.
Yeah.
Oh, we said that at the same time.
I know, dude.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
Finally, we're getting there.
I know.
Mark this podcast down.
So this is where it begins.
This is where it begins. In tandem. We said in tandem.
We did. That's like Inception right there.
Yeah. It's an agglomeration.
That's the definition of agglomeration now.
Yeah, I'm putting that in I'm submitting it to Webster's as we speak.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically all like I wanted to say on No Gun Life. Still really good.
Cool.
Like, I'm enjoying it.
Really good. Yeah.
Good friendships too.
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. What not about Chainsaw Man? What can we say bad about it?
Nothing.
Bad friendships,
This
bro. Bad
is
friendships.
an amazing. No, it's not amazing. Maybe at the beginning.
Makima, she's not a good friend.
Well, fucking. Did you ever consider her a friend? Because I sure as hell
Denji
did.
does.
Denji's a boy that just wants to be loved, man. And unfortunately, he's being manipulated.
Definitely.
You know what? Be careful out there. People will manipulate you.
They will.
For your love.
Sadly, that is true.
Dude, amazing arc. We're getting into some deep shit real fast. And we have the introduction of Santa Claus, the German
Santa Claus of Germany.
puppet demon. And oh man, I just want to say my favorite moment of this 10 chapters was Power driving the other government official's car and accidentally killing the hitman that was out there to kill Denji and them. and she's all like nervous about it. You can see like the sweat marks, and they go, "Oh my god, his face changed. He was a hitman." She's like, "Ha! I knew it,
Dude,
I'm the greatest."
I was dying. Yeah, she tried to like place the blame on the other agent in the car. She's like, "This is her car. It wasn't my fault." And then once it comes out that she actually saved them, she's like, "Actually, I knew."
All the glory comes is mine.
Yeah.
I love Power. I love her character.
Dude, Power is really
She's super
good.
Cool. Not just because she looks like 02 with the horns and bangs and hair, but she's a really good character. I think I really enjoyed her character when like she decided that she was going to win the Nobel Peace Prize when they were fighting the Infinity Demon. It's like, man,
forgot about
it's
that.
kind of like chaotic neutral alignment or whatever, however that goes. But I really enjoy her character.
Yeah. There's some well-written characters. Even like, I don't know, most of the characters are pretty deep too. Like, I mean, Denji, you would think he's not deep just from how his surface is, but there's like a lot going on under there. Just a lot of, I mean, when you think about it, like his character is abused and neglected, and you see this just slowly play out, like how he reacts. It's suppressed in a lot of ways. So he's actually deeper than you might think at first glance or reading the first chapter. And I really love that about the series. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna read them as soon as we're finished here. I'm reading the next 10.
Yeah, I might have to too.
It's a good manga. If you're not reading Chainsaw Man, you should be reading Chainsaw Man.
It's really fucking good. Like all these different assassins, like all of them were intriguing. Like each group.
And I did not expect this to be where it's at right now from the first chapter. I thought maybe again like a zombie horde type, and I think this is one of the good things. It's a good moment when I came into this series knowing there was some bit of hype around it, but not knowing exactly what it was about.
Yeah.
And experiencing it for our own.
Yep, that is true. Like we had no really background besides people were just raving about it.
Read Chainsaw Man like we were doing right now. Yeah, read Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I'm loving just all the contracts, the powers that these people get.
I do too.
Just from making these contracts.
And the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Some are fiends, some are demons, some are devils.
Yep.
And it's like each one has its own power. And it's this world is something I really want to. Once I'm all caught up, I'm gonna obviously go on the wiki, and really kind of deep dive into it because I want to understand it better because I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, that's for sure. I like also. So we get in these 10 chapters, we see that governments do experiments on people too. So there's that government in play. You see Reese was a product of the Russian experiments that were placed upon her. So like countries are kind of weaponizing demons.
As they do and as they would.
Of course, yeah.
I'm waiting to see us make its play.
I know.
United States.
We did. We sent there's the brothers.
Oh yeah, the brothers. Fuck US, dude.
Of course, like in the three brothers, they thought they were just untouchable.
The shit. Yeah, that would
literally they were like, we're unkillable. I think that's what they were saying. We're immortal.
You died with accidental car crash.
Yeah.
Good job. You did it, boys.
But yeah, if you're not reading, what are you doing? Like, if you're not reading this manga, just do yourself a favor. Read it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be our episode. Wrapping all that up, or kind of the end of our episode, I think. I do want to kind of touch base. We're cutting this a little early, just because we have some cool things coming up in the next 2 weeks. Next week, we're going to be talking about streetwear and anime and kind of fashion in general, which I'm very much a part of, or I like it, and I have some words to say because I'm a fan of streetwear in general. And that whole world is very fascinating to me. Also, what was I going to say? The week after, hopefully, if things go as planned, we're going to be doing a watch of Akira, and we'll have a guest on for that, which Jay, I think we're going to have a mutual friend of ours, Jared. I talked to him. He said he'd be totally down for it.
Hell yeah.
And, so I just wanted to give you that heads up, and we'll be doing that. So it should be freaking awesome and fun, man. We got a cool couple of weeks coming up.
Yep. We could have touched on Akira for friendships.
Well, we will, man, when we get there. I thought about it, but I was like, I didn't want to spoil it. I wanted to give the announcement right here, right now, live.
Oh, sweet. Yep. That's
cool,
some good stuff in the future.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching this. Again, we're on YouTube now, so you can like, subscribe, whatever you want if you feel like it. We're on Twitter. I'm going to be putting them in the video. I forgot I can do that because we have video now. But yeah, Twitter, Monch _hours. Instagram, Monch _manga. You can find me and Jay on Twitter. Go ahead and give your handle, Jay.
On Twitter, I am Hi Riza. That's HIGHRIZ. 3 Z's AH. It's really.
He copied me. Son Hans with 2 Z's, HAUNZZ.
Wow, bro.
He had to throw one extra Z.
This is my PlayStation name, so if you want to add me on PlayStation 4, it's the same.
That's funny because that's all my in-game name too. You can call me Xbox, Steam, PlayStation.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we're on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we appreciate you. And we hope you have a great week.
Yep. We out.
Peace. Boom.
Boom.
Thanks for watching. Till next time on Monch Hours.